Bootcamps are back, and today's guests, FBP fanatics Laurie Patterson and Jono Petrohilos, bring plenty of advice and knowledge on running a successful bootcamp program. Stay tuned. If you are a first-time listener, welcome to the Fitness Business Podcast family. You can check out our entire catalog of episodes and topics at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. And if you're a regular listener, thank you. We appreciate you coming back. Hello, everybody. I am your host, Dory Nugent, and today we not only have one industry expert, but we have two. That's right. Laurie Patterson and Jono Petrohilos are here with us today. They are going to break down the mechanics of how to not only launch a successful bootcamp program, but also how to run a successful bootcamp program. Laurie Patterson, she is the owner of Bootcamp Challenge, which is a US-based group training program created to change bodies. And Jono Petrohilos, he is the founder of Fitness Education Online, and he is Fitness Australia's Educator of the Year. We will hear from both Laurie and Jono in less than 2 minutes. First, a huge thank you to Tribe Team Training for supporting our show.
Are you interested in increasing your center's income and your trainer's income from small group training? Tribe Team Training is the new way to get more members engaged in small group training and paying extra. Click the Tribe Team Training link in the show notes or go to tribeteamtraining.com.au/podcast for your free formula to see how much income you can make from small group training.
Thank you, Tribe Team Training. Now make sure you check out www.tribeteamtraining.com.
Get your pen ready now for Keep Me's Fit Bizpiration.
What are your top 3 tips for launching or refining a bootcamp program? Jono, we'll start with you. Just try to maybe keep it to about a minute or so.
Okay, easy. I'll do this super quick then. So number 1 for new thing is value, right? How much value can you stack on? Don't just, in my opinion, I wouldn't just make it, hey, it's a boot camp, it's $50 a week, you get 5 sessions a week. Hey, it's a boot camp, it's $50 a week, you get 5 sessions a week, plus you get a 12-week home program, and you get a 12-week gym program, and you get my basic nutrition guidelines, and you get my clean eating recipe ebook, and you get my clean eating smoothie and shake ebook, and you get my core strengthening workouts, and you get my stretching workouts, yada, 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 right? So stack up as much value as you can without you doing the work though, right? You don't want to give a free nutrition session, because then you run out of time. Laurie's got 1 million clients. She can't do that with all of them, right? But if it's online leverage stuff, you do it once, right? So that's my number 1 tip for launching it. In terms of like refining community, everything is community, right? Because I think a lot of trainers, especially if you've come from the one-on-one world, it's all about your relationship with the client. And that's great, but that's kind of a given, right? It's kind of like, of course you're going to have a good relationship with your client. You get out of the industry if you don't, right? But the advantage of the bootcamp is the community, because it doesn't matter, like, let's say Laurie was training with me. She can love me as a trainer, but if she doesn't feel part of the community, she doesn't have any other friends there, she's eventually going to leave, right? But if I can make that bootcamp her circle of friends, right? It's like, that's what she does for fun. She comes down to boot camp, not because she wants to get fit. She comes down to boot camp to see her friends and have fun. And it just so happens that she gets fit as a result of doing that there. And then if I had to add a third thing as well, I would talk about fun too, right? So those 3 things there, I think in boot camp, it's even less about results. They come. It's more about if you can have that good program to get someone in there, you give them an amazing experience so they have fun and they've got a whole group of friends there, they're going to keep coming and getting results. They're my 3.
Perfect 3. You know what? I've always said this, that you have to sometimes disguise fitness as fun. They're having fun. They do not realize they're getting fit while they're having fun. So, okay, that's enough of my 2 cents. Laurie, you're up. Let's hear your 3 top tips.
Oh, that's so fun, because 2 of my 3 our Jonos as well. So, and by the way, these three come from my campers. At the end, our camps run in 6-week sessions. And at the end, we always do high-low. What was your high of the whole camp and what was your low of the whole camp? So what I'm about to give you are the top 3 from actual participants in Bootcamp Challenge over the last 20 years. And one is accountability. They love to know that someone's texting them and missing them, and not just the trainer, but to tack on what Jono said, the rest of the camp. Matter of fact, I don't even have to text my campers anymore. They're like, wait, where's Dee Dee? Dee Dee's not here. And they're texting for me. So accountability is the number 1. Number 2 is community. They love working. And these are the words they say. What was your high? My high was working out with this whole group, or my high was running or walking with the whole group. So community for sure. And then lastly, fun workouts. And this is what comes back over. And I'm always so surprised and shocked. I don't know why, but they say my high was the workouts this camp. And I'm still the program director, and they are fun. And going back to both what you, Dory, and Jono said, and this is so true, you know, in our marketing, a lot of times, well, I don't so much anymore, but we used to talk about results and, you know, losing inches and all of that. And it's just not about that. And that might be a motivator for some to join, but they stay. Yeah. Because of the Fit Fam. They stay because of the community, and they stay because you care.
Next week, I interview Kate All, and we talk about advertise and marketing your business on the social media platform of Pinterest. After this week's full interview, I'll introduce you to Kate, and you'll hear why you need to come back and hear her interview. Your business will thank you. MyZone has pioneered unique wearables with talking point technology that makes the difference. Reach more members of your community and keep them engaged for longer through motivation and gamification wherever they choose to work out. In the gym, at home, or outdoors, we're stronger together. Get in the zone at myzone.org. Let's transition into this week's interview with Laurie and Jono. Welcome, everybody, for joining us today. I am going to hand the mic over to our 2 experts today and allow them to introduce themselves and just share a little bit, maybe each take 30 seconds so we can get to the heart of the interview. Laurie and Jono both are fitness business podcast fanatics, so that's why we're super excited to have them here with us today. And Laurie, go ahead, take it away.
Well, thank you, Dory. Thanks for the invitation. Jono, great to see you on here. And as you shared, my name is Laurie Patterson. I am from St. Louis, Missouri in the United States. And I wake up every day on fire with a mission to help people move. And the vehicle that I created 20 years ago in which to do that is called Bootcamp Challenge. And it's a large group personal training program. We do it here in St. Louis, Missouri, and then I think we're in 10 other states in the United States currently. We also have an app, so we have had the opportunity to move literally millions of people.
Yes, millions of people for sure. I follow you on Facebook, social media, all TikTok, all of it. And yes, you certainly do have quite the following. So Jono, tell us a little bit, actually not me and Laurie, because we know you. Tell all of our followers out there about yourself today.
Yes. So in a nutshell, I run an organization called Fitness Education Online. What we do is we educate fitness professionals. So we've got a whole heap of different CEC courses here in Australia, CEU courses over there in the USA. And our signature course is our Bootcamp course, which helps fitness professionals grow their fitness bootcamp. We've had something like thousands of trainers take that course and seen some really, really good results from it as well. So in a nutshell, that's what I do.
Thank you. We will take the nutshell. So today, like I said, if you haven't already discovered, we're talking about boot camps, and I'm going to give you each the opportunity to answer this question. And that is, what is boot camp in 2021 and moving forward into 2022? Jono, we'll start with you this time.
Oh, thank you. Well, yeah, it's an interesting term, boot camp, right? And I think even because I Google it a lot because I'm doing research, let me boot camp this, let me boot camp that. And it's actually expanded even out of the fitness industry, right? If you Google boot camp right now, you're going to see the first thing will come up in Sydney anyway is a public speaking boot camp. And then the next thing is like an internet coding boot camp. And then the next thing is a Zumba boot camp, So, and then there's obviously fitness boot camps as well. The similarities I've seen between all of these is it's usually a time-based thing. So it's not just like, hey, sign up for this thing and go forever. It's, a 3-day boot camp or an 8-week boot camp or a 12-week boot camp. It's some sort of time-based thing. It's always a community thing as well. It's not just like, hey, sign up this boot camp and it's me and you, Dory, sign up for my boot camp and me and you will do a little. It just doesn't really work like that, right? And it's usually instructor-led as well. So it's those 3 key components where it's time-based, instructor-led, community. Usually in the fitness space specifically, it's also more outdoor or functional, even if it's not outdoor, like functional type training, whatever that means. But I guess what I'm saying there is you won't usually sign up for a 12-week boot camp and do body pump sessions. Nothing against body pump, but it's just not traditionally what's done in the boot camp world. You're not going to sign up for a 10-week boot camp and do some spin, like, not saying they're bad things and they can be done, but usually when you're talking about boot camp in the fitness side of things, it's that sort of functional / outdoor training.
All right. Well,
over to you, Laurie. Oh, sorry. Did you want to jump in, Dory?
That's a good overview of what those Aussies are doing in their boot camp. So now, Laurie, tell us a little bit about how Bootcamp Challenge is run for you guys and how you define boot camp in 2021.
I love, first of all, Jono, exactly how you defined and explained it, because that is actually how Bootcamp Challenge was created. I was in the United States Army, and we do go to basic training. It's called basic training for 8 weeks. And the purpose is to train you up not only with the skill set you need to be successful, but to train you up as one unit. So you have one mission, one job, so that you find success. And that's the whole premise that I created Bootcamp Challenge. That's all I knew was the Army and the fitness industry. So everything you said and defined and described is spot on. And thank you for doing that. I think when I brought boot camps into the fitness industry, it kind of diverted a bit and changed, a little bit, but what you are defining and what I define are the same. And Dory, more specifically to your question on what's happening with Bootcamp Challenge and boot camps and Jonos in 2021 and 22 is an amazing opportunity to reach thousands and thousands of more people. Because what has been so great about this worldwide pandemic is that everyone has had to learn to operate online. Every single one of us. The only way to stay connected, to educate our children, to share our message to work is through technology. And so now we can do boot camps in person, which I do, Jono does, boot camps virtually, and everybody has an option. Basically, we've eliminated every excuse for someone to be able to move. And that is what is most exciting to me for 2021 and actually for forever, because the barrier was finally broken. I think I'd shared that with you before. I had tried to do virtual live bootcamp challenge 4 years ago, and zero people signed up. And then in March of 2020, now almost half of our business is virtual. So it's been great that we get to reach so many more people. And then lastly, I'll finish with, and I know Jono sees this too within his camps, that a lot of people, when they come, they have a fear. It takes a lot of courage to show up to a group training, anything. And now, because people can do virtual, there's one more level of comfort. They're like, well, I'm scared, but I'm still in my living room. So we're also helping those that may need that one small little push of courage to join a program for their wellness. We have that now.
Laurie, can I?
No, you go.
Okay. I was just going to say, Laurie, can you tell us who are you typically seeing in your boot camp classes? And I'm talking age, gender, ability, things like that.
We see mostly females. It's 80% females, 20% males. Ages ranges from 25 to 55. And the women that come into our program are college graduates, professionals. They have children going through menopause. That is our target market. And we do have those that are younger. We have a lot of moms that bring their high school children or their college kids when they come home on summer break. And then, of course, we have husbands that are dragged by their wives to camp. And that is primarily who we see in our camps.
And Jono, I'd like to ask you the same question, being in Australia, just to get possibly a different perspective, or maybe the same.
Yeah, I'd love to give you a different perspective, but it's pretty much exactly the same there. And I'll just piggyback off that. And also I just want to add on to what Laurie said earlier as well, when she was saying there's less excuses. My mum hasn't signed up to a gym in 20 years, right? But during the pandemic, I can't just sit at home, let me go and do some online. And she signed up to an online boot camp. She would never attend a face-to-face boot camp. She would maybe join a gym, with one-on-one, right? But during the pandemic, joined an online boot camp. She didn't even know what Zoom was, a year ago, whatever it is. But yeah, demographics exactly the same. And I think that just to add why I guess that's important in a boot camp sort of setting is because it's group-based. There's obviously outliers all the time, right? And you can tailor your boot camp to whatever. There's a market for whatever you want. But what Laurie described works really well in boot camp because you can make it more personal then. If it was like, oh, man, there's everyone, there's old people, there's young people, just a complete mix, it makes it harder to program. But see how when Laurie explained it, even though there's still going to be variables there and anyone can jump in, it just makes it a lot easier because majority of those people are going to have similar goals, enjoy similar exercises, have similar interests.
All right. So here's my next question for you both. What is working better? Putting the bootcamp class on a schedule, like a Group X schedule, or making it a for-profit 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks class? Jono, we'll start with you.
Yes. Okay. So both of them can work. It depends. And I've done both on both sides of it as well. It just depends on how the gym owner would want to do it. So let's say the last sort of gym I taught at was Crunch before the pandemic. They're I think, bigger in America than Australia anyway, right? Both of you two are familiar. Yeah, cool. At that stage, it was a group exercise class. It was Monday there was a Tabata class, Tuesday night there was a Pilates class, Wednesday it was Jono's Bootcamp class. And great, really popular, could do the workouts I wanted. But from my side of things, I'd get there 15 minutes early, write the workout up, hang out a bit, teach the class, hang out a few minutes later. But then that was it until next week. My role sort of ended there, right? Which is fine if what you want is a group exercise class there. But me, I wouldn't do any extra for it, right? I've also done situations where it's been a split, usually around 60-40, let's even call it 50-50 to make it easy. So let's say, for example, a member would sign up for a gym, right? And then they would pay extra for that boot camp. And then the trainer who runs the boot camp would get a percentage split of that. Then it can work because the trainer's more invested. Let's say it was an extra, a 12-week thing where the member paid more, but you just paid me the same as a group fitness rate. I'm not going to put in that extra mile, right? I'm there for that hour to teach group fitness as the trainer. But if you said to me, hey, Jono, we're going to get you 20 people in this boot camp. You get 50% of the profits. It goes for 12 weeks. Your job is to get all those 20 to sign up again, right? So you keep getting that money. And then we'll do another push to our members. And you can do external as well. If you're giving the trainer a percentage and they're motivated to do some of those little extras, like I'm sure Laurie does and her, the text messages here and there, the Facebook groups, it's more of a community there. So that's my take. I think they can both work. If the gym owner's charging extra, it's probably going to be in their advantage to give the trainer a split of that. So the trainer actually goes that extra mile and does those little things outside of the session.
Absolutely. All right, Laurie, go ahead. Love to hear what you have to say or add or disagree.
Well, I agree with everything that Jono said. And I would also say, don't do both. So if you want an offering on your group exercise schedule and you call it boot camp, that's all you're going to do. If you want to offer large group personal training or group personal training and call it boot camp, do that. But if you call them both boot camp, your members are going to be confused on, well, why is this one free and this one's $220? So make sure that you decide first as the business owner, what is it that you want for your members? What do you want to offer to your members? And then make that decision.
Yeah, I think that's smart. Very smart. All right, so let's talk marketing with Bootcamp. Marketing has changed completely since the pandemic has hit. Laurie, I loved right away in the opening, you said, hey, I tried this a few years ago. I had 0 participants. And you're like, I mean, 0. And now it's booming. Jono, also the same. Australia's been through, if not maybe the worst lockdowns than the United States have been. So I'll start with you this time, Laurie. Tell me about your marketing strategy to make sure your numbers are staying up and your classes are full.
Sure. The first marketing strategy that we use is our current campers, because their voice is more powerful than our voice, because, on social media, they're like, oh, of course, Laurie's taking a walk because she's in fitness. But when they see one of my campers out taking a walk on a Saturday or doing a little core workout, that becomes powerful. So using your current campers is the best form. And if you can get them on social media or ask their permission, would they tag you in a post? Would they speak on your behalf? Is the most powerful. And then secondly is social media. And, I became a business owner before social media came to be. So we used to be old school of mailing out flyers, doing, I forget what they were like little magazines that you put in mailboxes. And I'm not saying that isn't still a good idea, but the power of social media and to have a voice on all these platforms is amazing. So we use social media. And by the way, you don't have to pay a dime. If you don't have any marketing dollars, you get on and you talk every single day. And Dory, you said that at the top of this, you said, oh my gosh, I follow you on the platforms. I do that with intention. I made myself post on every platform every day to give to my community, because I also feel like, just taking it one step further as far as marketing, I don't have a right to ask somebody for $220 if I haven't given them and earned their trust and built a rapport. So every day I give tips, nutrition, constantly talking. And then right before we launch, I said, hey, if you're ready to take that extra step, I would be honored if you chose my camp. So those are the two main strategies we use to market. And then within the social media, our philosophy is, mine and all the trainers, is give before you ask.
Very nice philosophy. John, I'd love to hear how you're making out there in Australia with your marketing strategy for Bootcamp.
Yes. Well, this is my favorite topic. So our signature CEU course, CEC course, is 10 hours of marketing strategies for Bootcamp. So I'll summarize that in about 1 minute if I can, but I'll agree with everything Laurie said. I think that's awesome. If I can give a different perspective or something that hasn't been said yet, I'm a huge fan of Facebook ads if done properly, all right? So I've got a very specific system. The exact ad, here's the exact photo you use. Well, like you put it with your group, obviously, but the exact type of photo that you use, the exact heading that you use, the exact copy that you use, obviously slightly tweaked and you enter your area and what you offer and those sort of things there. But here's the results if you do this Facebook ad properly. Your budget will depend on what you sort of charge. Over here in Australia, an average, it's usually about $40-50 a week, right, for a boot camp. It's usually a 10 to 12 week thing. So let's just call it $500. You charge 500 Australian, you get 10 to 12 weeks of training. But wherever you are, if it's 220 in the US, you use 220 as your number. But I'll just use 500 as an example. Use this system, put that on Facebook ads, you'll get leads for $5, right? Which means if you put $500 on, you will get 100 leads. All right. Now, obviously, not all. We know what leads are like, right? It's about a 10%, minimum 10%, up to 20% conversion if you're good at sales, and depends what you offer and all that. But let's just call it 10%. You get 100 leads, 10 of them sign up. You've got a 10x return. You put $500 in to make $5,000. Why would you not? And actually, I wrote a blog on this. It's on the Fitness Business Podcast blog, so check that out. I break down, I don't know if I go into the ins and outs, but it's at least a lot of detail on how to do it in there. So I recommend that. You 10x your money. Why would you not? But on top of that, what's better is those 90 people that didn't sign up, okay? And that's where you implement Laurie's strategies. Because all right, as she mentioned, you're going to get 100 people. 90 of them, they don't know who you are. There's the 10% that just want to sign up right now. That's great. But 90 of them, they're not going to give you your money straight away, right? And actually, that's where my second favorite strategy is the bring a friend week, but when done properly as well. That's a whole nother strategy. I've made that mistake before where I didn't plan my bring a friend week. And in that week, so it was bring a friend week, but I didn't plan it. And it just so happened that the Monday was my death by cardio workout. You can imagine how many of those friends came back for the next one, right? So, and that's an easy example. You do it, but use that as an example. At the start of your 12-week challenge, and that's why I like challenges as well, because there's a set start date. There's urgency without lying, right? It's literally like, hey, it starts on Monday. Are you in or you're out? If you're out and you got to wait till later, but use that strategy. You get 100 leads in there. 10 of them sign up, you get 10x of your money, you post on social media for the next 6 weeks and send out some emails or whatever it may be. And then in the halfway point of your challenge, you do your bring a friend or your open week. Those 90 people that didn't sign up have now been following you for 6 weeks. They're no longer a cold lead. They're now a warm lead. And then you can offer them something for free there. I don't like offering the free week at the start because it just doesn't always get the right people. But if someone's opted in about it, didn't sign up, I'm happy to let them come in at the halfway point for week 6 and combine that with Laurie's, bring your members and you bring a friend strategy, and then you get another boost then as well. So I recommend starting with the ads, use the Jono Fitness Education Online System, get your money back on the front end, and you've now got a following that you can nurture organically. Do your Bring a Friend week at week 6. Even if they don't come and sign up at the Bring a Friend week, the next 12-week challenge. And guess what? Even if they don't sign up 12 weeks later, we're in this for the long term. How long have you been running your boot camp for now, Laurie?
20. We're having our 20th birthday this next week. 20 years.
There we go. And am I right, Laurie, in saying you've probably had people that have been following you for years and haven't signed? They inquired, 4 or 5 years ago, didn't sign up, but now it's the right time or it's the right special or whatever, and because you've been consistent, now they're ready to go.
Oh, 100%. I couldn't agree more. And I think that as a business owner, anyone running boot camps or gyms, you have to think in the macro and you have to have patience.
Yeah.
Because it's not about just trying to acquire $1. It's about trying to build a relationship with your community that they trust you and they trust you with your wellness. Totally agree, Jono. So good.
I'm glad you guys are agreeing today. We'd have to convert it into a Jerry Springer show here. I don't know if Jono knows who Jerry Springer is, but
yeah. We got him in Australia. Is he still around?
He's like, yeah, we got him.
He's still around, is he?
Is he really?
Wow. Now I listened to him when I was in high school, which was only a couple of years ago.
Yeah, everybody wants to feel cared about.
100%. And, and I tell my trainers that when I'm training them up too, especially since the pandemic and we went virtual. And one of the strategies is I tell them to please say each camper's name at least 3 times during the hour, specifically like, hey, Jono, great job. Hey, Dory, pull your hips back. Hey, Laurie, at least 3 times. I said, because, that might be the only time that in that whole day that they hear their name with love. So it's important as well.
That's such a subtle one, but huge. It's worlds apart between, hey, great job, and hey, great job, Laurie.
Everybody wants to hear their name said, right?
Yeah,
Everybody wants it. It makes you feel special.
And even walking in, there's a difference between, hey, guys, how are you? And Laurie, how are you? Dory, how are you? It sounds subtle, but in the boot camp world, it's the difference between good and great.
100%.
And I mean this in a very professional way. I mean, I know we could get silly with it, but in a professional way, but a sense of touch also. People, not only they want to hear their name, but, and again, I say this in a professional way, whether you're touching to reaching out to shake their hand, or if you feel as if you have that relationship, you could give them a little, even a little side hug or something. I always think that's a huge one as well. I mean, sometimes, people that are like, hey, whoa. But that's reading people, and that's all part of it as well.
I'll jump on that for a sec as well. Even if we go back to the type of people, I think it's in a boot camp, the type of people you want as well is those type of people, community people. You don't always get them. Sometimes there's the person that just wants to go in there and train hard, but it's not always a good fit. And I think if you have too many of them, if you have too many people that just want to go in there and do their own thing, it sort of ruins the community experience. I think you want to target your community to be people like that. And if someone doesn't like that, that's fair enough. That's their prerogative, but they might not be a good fit for a sort of boot camp program. So, they may even get weirded out with that process as well. You obviously be respectful, of course, but I think it is important to target your type of people that do like community, because it builds on it. Then you're going to get more people like that and more people like that, and it just keeps building.
Yeah. And, hey, there's no right or wrong. As a matter of fact, I interviewed a guest one time, and I was saying how I love the high five. Like I work in a small group. I train with a small group. It's the same group. We high five and we'll hug or elbow or whatever. And it was just funny because he was like, yeah, I'm not really into that. He's like, I went last in your group. And I was like, oh, great.
No, you would not.
My business partner, Travis, my business is opposite to me, right? He goes to the gym with his headphones on, no music on, but just so no one talks to him. He just wants to be in there. So he's got an excuse not to talk, which is fine, right? And there's things that cater for that as well, but it's probably not a community boot camp.
All right. Final question before we wrap things up here. Actually, we have a couple questions that have come in through our Facebook page. But before that, I just want to ask you each again. And again, we'll try to keep it around a minute. And Laurie, you did this a little bit in your introduction, but maybe since we've been talking, there's something you could add. If you could tell us about your business, the way you run your boot camp, and how maybe you could just maybe a tip that you could provide to help somebody out there that's watching.
Sure. Our camps run in sessions. We have a start and end date. We run 8 camps in a 12-month period. At the end of Q3 every year, which I just did in September, is I make the launch dates for the whole next year. So everybody knows, and that's really for our team of trainers in case they're planning travel. We have start and end dates. And that was the last, you asked me the last question you said. Oh, a tip to give. Yeah. So we run in sessions throughout the year, start and end date, 6 weeks. Some of them are 3 weeks in length. When we go into corporations, we will tailor them to the corporation. They might want it in 4 weeks or 5 weeks. So we'll do that as well. And then I think the greatest tip that I will add, and I've shared this, I feel like I've shouted this from the rooftops for 20 years. And I hope that everyone hears that if you're going to charge for a boot camp and you're going to create a program, make sure you add value. Add value before you ask your member to pay you additional money. And it can be whatever, like we do assessments pre-post, we do nutritional education, then of course we have the workouts. So that's our added value. Your added value can be completely different, but if you're going to ask somebody for money, respect them enough to give them something in return.
Okay, great advice. Jono, go ahead, take it away.
Yes. So my business was in this side of things, 2 parts. We've got our CEC courses, our CEU courses. You can jump on our website, fitnesseducationonline.com. If you're in America, courses registered NASM, AFA, or big ones. If you're in Australia, fitnesseducationonline.com.au, registered with Fitness Australia, Reps New Zealand, yada, yada, yada. We also run Facebook ads for boot camps. So if you want me or my team to run your ads, reach out and help you out there. In terms of the biggest tip, I want to go different. I agree with Laurie's, but I want to try and go different. So let me see if I can come up with a different one here. Okay, I would just say build your community every single day. A mistake one I made when I started off is the first couple of weeks of the boot camp, I'll do some games and get to know you and put the effort in and then job done. I don't need to do anything after that. And I figured out it doesn't work. And if anything, it forms cliques. I don't know if you've had this, Laurie, in your experience, where if you don't sort of continually do that, you can have cliques form where it's like, we're the old school people. We've been here, we're not welcoming new people. And I've had that. And I learned the hard way how to get rid of that. So yeah, just keep building your community every single day, every single week, sit down. What can I do to get these people to be closer to each other?
Are indoor boot camps just as popular as the outdoor? So Laurie, do you bring yours in the wintertime when the weather changes?
The answer is yes. We do. We go inside because, we have the weather changes here. So we're outside as long as possible. And then we go inside. And yes, the numbers are the same.
Okay. Jono, how about yourself?
100%. Even in Australia, right, where the weather may not be as extreme in some areas, 100%, I think it's good to have, as Laurie does, you have both, right? It's like you've got an indoor location. So if it's raining or whatever, great, you go in here. If it's good weather, outside.
Okay.
And yes, numbers are the same.
Yeah, I think maybe Matthew was just trying to feel out like, is it just as popular? Everybody thinks boot camp outside at a park. So great. Okay, next we have Jenny from Kentucky is asking, do either of you find that personal trainers or Group X instructors have more success? So I think she's trying to ask, do you see that it's more successful with a personal trainer doing the teaching or a Group X instructor doing the teaching?
Who's up? You want to take it first, Laurie?
Sure. Hands down, group exercise instructors. 100%, because you can teach them the assessment. If your added value is going to be body composition or measurement, you can teach them those, but they have the greatest skill set, which is managing groups of people, and I've always thought that interesting about our industry, that and I'm both, by the way, so I'm not dissing, but personal trainers always get paid more than group exercise instructors. And in my head, that should have always been flipped, which that's what I love about Bootcamp Challenge. And what Jono said is my trainers get a percentage. So my trainers do make $200 an hour or based on, the campers that they bring in. But group exercise instructors know how to move that many people safely, effectively help them get the result while motivating the campers. So hands down, group exercise instructors.
Yeah.
I love you, personal trainers, but you're better with one-on-ones.
100%. And I'll even add a little bit as well. And I'll give maybe the personal trainer side as well. A lot of the time, personal trainers are very focused on the finer point of the technique, right? Which is great. And that's what you want if you're a personal trainer. But if you've got 20 people in there, you're running a 45-minute session, really, you've only got 2 minutes per person, So you need to know where to jump in and where not to overanalyze. Because if you try, and I've seen personal trainers before run a boot camp, overanalyze, there's 30 minutes explaining and then 15 minutes actually working out, And then, as Laurie said, because the other big part of the boot camp, it's the energy and the group environment, and group instructors are trained in that there. But in saying that, my background was personal training and I had to learn the other side of things there. But if I was to get someone tomorrow, it would be easier to get a group fitness instructor than a personal trainer.
What's the one mistake to avoid?
Just one?
Oh, gosh, just one? That's what I was thinking.
Okay, so you can do 2 or 3 if you can just keep them kind of like, short.
Okay.
Jono, do you want to go first this time?
Yeah. Okay, cool. Let me think.
I got to think that too.
Mistake. All right.
So while you guys are thinking, Marissa, she's laughing at us. So we,
awesome.
We're glad we could entertain her.
Okay, cool. I might just rattle off 2 or 3 in like 30 seconds just because I think it's too hard. There's not one big one where everyone... No, actually, no, I will go one big one. This is more for the sole boot camp operator, right? So it's like you're running your own boot camp. The common mistake I see is trainers run too many sessions right off the bat, right? And I'll share, last time I was running a boot camp, I had 100 clients in there, right? 1 session a day, $50 a week. All right, 100 clients, 1 session a day. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 a.m., Tuesday, Thursday, 6:30 p.m., Saturday at the end. I had a few trainers, whatever. But, even with 100 clients, I was maybe having 30 people attend per session, right? 2 trainers, happy days, 15 people each group, right? What a lot of trainers do when starting off is, right, I'm going to run this really successful boot camp. I'm going to run a 6 a.m., a 7 a.m., a 9:30 for the mum, a 12 lunchtime, a 5, and they got like 2 people in each session. You add up the numbers, it's like, well, you'd be better off just run one of them, spend the rest of your day, because any of those peak sessions, whatever, a 6 a.m. session, if you had all day, because that's why I was able to build my boot camp, right, I run 1 session at 6 a.m., and from 7 a.m. till 7 p.m., I'm just marketing my ass off to fill the rest of it, So that would be my number one thing. When you're starting off, 1 session a day. You might vary, whether it's the same slot every day or you vary, it's a few different things. Make it consistent, though. It's not this one day and that the other day. It's, give people 3 consistent sessions they can come to, fill those up or get them to a certain point, and then open up another one. All right, that's by far the biggest mistake I see.
All right, perfect. Good. All right, Laurie, go ahead. Give us 1 to 30 seconds. We're good.
I think the biggest mistake I see with people launching boot camps is charging people for a class called boot camp with no added value. Yeah, that's what I've seen the last 12 years with most gyms that fail because they're like, we hear boot camps are hot, so we're going to do that and we're going to charge $300. And then it's placed on the group exercise schedule, which is typically free. So I would say that would be the number one. And I think the number 2 mistake is the actual workouts, because like I said, when you talk about the top 3 from our campers, our customers, that is one of the main reasons that they come. And creating workouts that are not based in science, that are trendy, that are sexy, because that's what's trending on YouTube, and or getting your programming from YouTube. Again, I know that sounds like I'm dissing YouTube. I know there's some great professionals on there, but because your customer will come for that workout, make sure it's safe and effective. And then Jono had said this earlier, most definitely fun.
Permits, insurance for running outdoor boot camp class. Laurie, I'll start with you and then we'll wrap it up with Jono.
Yes, and yes. Yes, and yes.
So in Australia, it's super easy to get a permit, right? There's different councils have different restrictions or whatever, but it's really easy. The one thing though, I'll give the view from say like solo operator. I would run most of my boot camps out of the school hall, which was great. You had the football field or the rugby field, we can call it over here. You had the indoor gymnasium, you had the playground. There were no because over here in Australia, there's certain parks you can't hang a TRX gear, or, you can't use these benches for dips or whatever. But in the school, you had whatever it is. So that's one way. Like, obviously, if you're in the park, go and get a permit. But the school is a great way, which just gives you and also over here, there's limits. Hey, you got only 10 people at this park or 20 at this park. The school allows that. And insurance, 100%.
Well, guys, thank you so much. Laurie, Jono, thank you so much for coming on today. Our boot camp experts. Thank you, Laurie and Jono, for joining us today and bringing not only your knowledge, but your passion for the industry. For those of you listening, if you would like to contact our industry experts for more bootcamp information, head to the show notes, which can be seen at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. Or when you subscribe to the best show notes in the podcast world, they are emailed directly to you. Subscribe to the show notes at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. In 30 seconds, I will introduce you to our super savvy Pinterest expert, Kate All, who is next week's guest.
Member experience is more than just NPS. With MXM's Member Experience Toolkit, you build a unified view of the member experience, from purchase to onboarding to everyday usage and cancellation. Wire your entire organization with actionable feedback using MXN's Member Experience Toolkit. To find out more, go to mxmetrics.com.
Quickfire 5.
The wait is over. I am excited to introduce our industry expert, Kate All, as our upcoming guest. Kate is the founder of Simple Pin Media, and for 7 years, she has been helping people discover, master, and learn Pinterest marketing. Let's take a quick listen to Kate's Quickfire 5 answers. Today's Quickfire 5 guest is Kate All. Kate is the founder of Simple Pin Media. You guys are going to love her answers today, so we're going to get started. But first, let's welcome Kate to our episode today. Kate, welcome to the Fitness Business Podcast.
Well, thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, another first-time guest. We love those this is our first time on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm honored. I'm so excited to also talk about Pinterest because I know that's not something you've had a whole lot of conversation about.
No, you are one of my most anticipated guests of the month, so I can't wait. But first, let's hear the answers to your Quickfire 5 questions. Question number 1 is, what was a life lesson you learned from the pandemic?
Oh, I feel like there's like 20, but I would say to build in space for true rest and quiet time and to do the things that like I really love and just to create space because it felt busier actually instead of the rest of blocking out the world.
All right. Question number 2, if you could play a character in any movie, what character would you be?
So I had trouble with this one, but I think I'm going to go TV show. I'm going to go a little bit outside. I love Madam Secretary. So I love T. Leone, how she plays. I'm a big government documentary kind of show nerd. So I would play her.
That's a good one. She's good. You don't see her around quite as much. She needs to come back into our lives. Yeah,
I agree.
All right. Number 3, please complete this statement. Sunday morning, you can find me.
We are actually usually at church. So we're regular churchgoers that go every Sunday. So that's where we're at.
Very nice. And what is your number 1 book recommendation out there for our FBP family?
I love the book. Mostly recently read this, The Most Powerful Woman in the Room. It's excellent leadership book for leaders. It's fantastic.
Good. And guys can read that too, right?
100%. Yes. Very good.
All right. And finally, here you go. This is your big shot. We're going to give you a chance to pitch your episode to all of our listeners out there and why they should come back next week to hear about Pinterest.
Yeah, I would love them to come back to learn what Pinterest really is and how it can help their business and how it's different than Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and all those other platforms. It can drive traffic to your business and it's not that hard to do.
All right, FBP family, you love when we have marketing guests on. So please mark your calendar next week. Come on back. We're going to talk to Kate, and she's going to teach us all about Pinterest and how to use it in a positive way for our businesses. Next week's show is quite intriguing as Kate All gets you up to speed on how to use Pinterest as another social media marketing tool to get your brand out there in front of your audience and your future audience. So I invite you to come back next week for this one-of-a-kind episode. Thank you to our founding partner, Active Management, our partners, Keep Me, MyZone, Discover Strength, Tribe Team Training, and One Fit Stop. And we can't forget our advertisers, Rex Roundtables, MX Metrics, and Vapor Fresh. We believe what you leave behind is not what is engraved in stone monuments, but woven into the lives of others.